To Marla's family and friends, to those who worked closely with her, to the journalists who knew the substance of her work very well, and those who observed and encouraged her from a distance. All of us are here to celebrate someone who is one of a kind, but whose work and legacy are secure. One could say, somewhat inadequately, that we are here to celebrate a person who seemed to be a walking contradiction. A youth who was wise, a Californian, comfortable on the East Coast, but much happier in Afghanistan and Iraq, a woman who was a protester and a patriot. One thing is obvious: we all share enormous appreciation for her as an individual and for what she was about as a person of action, a person who cared deeply about others and that did something about it. There were many things about Marla Ruzicka that set her apart. With me, it seemed slightly amusing to her, but no distraction whatsoever, that I had worked for what was once referred to humorously as the entire axis of evil. Vice President Cheney, Secretary Rumsfeld, and Ambassador Wolfowitz, and a Republican senator before that. In the end, Marla was focused on what mattered, of course: helping innocent civilian victims caught in the crossfire. And this was a unifying mission that merited action by her and by her friends through virtually any appropriate means possible. Marla Ruzicka was a unifier. Now, unity can mean the state of individuals who are in utter agreement, who believe that there was strength in unity. But unity also can mean a bringing together into a whole. Marla Ruzicka earned respect and respected the fact that there were people who cared in all places and from all walks of life, from the soldiers on the front lines to Capitol Hill staff and their bosses to everywhere. Any person who can bridge such a natural distance is a gift to humanity. And the fact that there are now, as she put it, structures in place through which her young life's work will continue, that is truly remarkable. I first met Marla at the home of a mutual friend. I remember very clearly her utter lack of pretense. But reflecting back, what also stands out, and perhaps even more, was her basic human confidence in the fundamental truth behind her core mission. When asked for educational or promotional materials on her project and those she was working with that could be passed on to others, Marla would dig deep into a backpack and eventually fish out one copy of a seemingly homemade and badly dog-eared folded sheet that got right to the point. Specific examples of individuals who had been helped with small photos and a sense of how many more human beings were out there who needed assistance and who needed it badly. I also remember her as an exceptionally efficient tactician who could focus on producing a narrow, vital result. She was someone who simply asked, and asked simply, who would be the best person to talk with? Who would be the best person to speak with on a specific problem? Who might be able to break a particular logjam, one that seemed to be preventing more assistance from getting to those who needed it most? Or sometimes it seemed to have the ring of a simple, practical, ongoing self-education. Her last question, a voicemail left prior to departure on her final trip to Iraq, was vague. It was a question about a U.S. senator and a committee, but without any context. This we know for certain: Marla Ruzicka earned the lasting respect and deep appreciation for all those with whom she worked. She combined childlike innocence and an awkwardness with wisdom and effectiveness far beyond her years. Marla embodied an amazing grace in her own unique way. She was proof that there are angels among us, even in the most trying of times and the most dangerous circumstances. And there is no doubt that Marla's legacy is already and will remain an inspiration to the many who will come, who will continue to try in some small way to make a big difference.